Hey everybody, Beth Helvey, Couture Real Estate. How you doing today? It is Thursday, October 8th. Here in sunny Sarasota, and it's like 90 degrees today. So, want to talk to you about, hey Rick, a article that just came out through Florida Realtors Association. And they are talking about when the foreclosures are going to hit. And this is something that every single person has asked me. Everybody's expecting this to be like post 2008, where we're flooded with foreclosures and everybody is going to lose their house and stuff like that. And are there going to be some extra foreclosures? Probably. You know, a lot of people have lost their jobs. Is it going to be like post 2008? No. Here's why. We're not going to see these foreclosures hit the market in Florida till 2022. Now, the other 49 states, I don't know how they do it, to be perfectly honest. So if any of y'all live in these other states and have knowledge on this, please throw it in the comments because I would love to know. But don't forget, we've talked about this. Real estate law is state to state. It's not national. The way foreclosures work in Florida is that when a bank is going to file what's called a lis pendens, which is essentially a notice that they're going to do a foreclosure, there is a process that they have to go through in the state of Florida for it to be a legal process. Now, with Florida residents, you do have the opportunity to try to pay back what you've not paid, okay? But then once the foreclosure process starts, it has to go through the court system. And that is part of the reason why also economists and real estate experts are saying that all of these forbearances that people took aren't really going to come due until the spring of 2021. So you take spring of 2021 plus how the law works in real estate with foreclosures in the state of Florida, you're not going to see these till 2022. Now, here's why I think you're not going to see that many. There's a lot of reasons why. Now, you remember when this started and forbearances were being offered, myself and every other realtor that you know and love got online, sent out emails, sent out phone calls and said, don't do it. Don't do it. The reason we told people that is because at the end of most people's forbearance is going to be a balloon payment. So if you took a 3-month, a 6-month, a 12-month forbearance, hey Pedro, you're going to have to pay all of those payments in a balloon payment at the end. I know of one person personally that did not happen to. There were a handful of people that were able to hit the pause button on their mortgage loan. And there's also another handful of people that what happened is that chunk was taken and it's essentially a second lien on the property now, because your first lien's your main mortgage. The second lien's going to be this forbearance time frame. Okay, so that is what's going on there. And I actually didn't do my personal house as a loan, but what I did do is I called all my creditors. I called my credit cards, I called my car loan, I called a whole bunch of people and asked them when they started offering a forbearance. And they were actually, it's not really a forbearance. A forbearance is where they put the pause on it, and that's not what they were doing. So people be careful. A lot of people that took this forbearance, and a lot of people I personally know, took it and took their mortgage payment and put it in a savings account. And this is part of the reason why I think there's not going to be as many foreclosures on the market as people are hoping. You know, the people that are hoping to scoop up all these foreclosures. Hey, John, here's why. I think a lot of people put the money into savings. A lot of people took the forbearance because, you know, February, March, April, the world was kind of scary. And I think a lot of people were concerned about what would happen if I lose my job. So they were putting a plan into action for worst case scenario. And then what they did is they took that money and they put it into a savings account. That's not as good as making a mortgage payment, but it's not as bad as taking the forbearance and not having the money, you know, like spending it or being out of work. Okay. So I think there's going to be that group of people that are just going to come back and pay that nut off when it comes due. Okay. Now, fewer people month to month are not making their mortgage payment. So every month that we've gone through since March, fewer people have not made that mortgage payment. So the people making mortgage payments is going up, not going down. Okay. Because more jobs have been redone. You know, more people have gone back to work. More people are in work. People didn't lose their jobs. A lot of people telecommuted, you know, things like that. And that's also another reason why. And here is a really, really big reason why I think we're not going to see as many. If you look at the statistics today of people who own a home versus back during the housing crisis, less than 15% of homeowners have less than 20% in equity, okay? Which means that over 40% of people that currently own their own home own it completely outright. And then we've got another 20, 30%, my math is not working, that have 20% or more equity in their home right now. So more people today have a larger chunk of equity in their home than they did after the last housing crisis. Because don't forget, with the last housing crisis, we had people refining because prices, you know, were out of control. Prices were just going up, 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 and up, and people just kept, you know, mortgaging until, you know, your $300,000 house just got mortgaged for $450,000. And then by the time the crash came, you were underwater. And then you had to build that back up. So we aren't experiencing that. So more people actually have, and we learned lessons, more people have equity. And again, 40% or more people actually own their house outright. And then less than 15% of people have 20% or less equity invested in their house right now. So what I think is going to happen is this. I think that when these forbearances that these people took come due, we're going to have a handful of things going on. We're going to have people short sailing if they can't quite make up the difference, or if they're one of the unfortunate people who did not get to go back to work. I think we're going to see some short sales, and there's going to be enough equity built in, hi Marty, where they will be able to do this, or they're just going to sell their house. You know, if they can sell their house and be able to pay, you know, the taxes, the deed stamps, and everything that goes along with selling a house, and pay back what they owe on the forbearance and satisfy their mortgage, they're going to do that. And we're going to see people who are able to do that. Okay. Hi, Gaston. And then we're also going to see people possibly doing some sort of restructuring of their loan. We're going to see some of that going on. But the main part here is that a lot more people have a significant amount of equity in their house now than they did. So the choices that they're going to have if they can't pay back that pause or that forbearance is going to be different than it was after the last housing crash. So based on those reasons, we are still going to see some foreclosures. We're going to see an uptick. It's not going to be much. And for those people who are thinking that they're going to come in and swoop up all these amazing deals, I wouldn't hold your breath. What we saw with the last set of foreclosures, and you know, there were a lot of people lost their house after the housing crisis, right? We saw banks actually listing properties at or just below market value. So just because the house goes into foreclosure doesn't mean that you're going to get a $400,000 house for $300,000. You're going to get a $400,000 house for probably just under $400,000. Is it going to be a smidge of a break? Maybe, maybe not. But you're not going to see these fire sales with the foreclosures going on, okay? We've also got some other things, and I'll put all this stuff up in the comment section so y'all know what's going on. We also have the people who are going to be selling their house are going to be selling it right away because inventory is frighteningly low right now. Back during the last housing crisis, we had an overabundance of inventory. So people who had to sell their house had to market way down, which is why we saw some of the prices come down in order to actually get out from under their houses. Right now, we have some of the lowest inventory that we've had in some time. So when you enter a house into that sort of situation, it'll sell quicker, and then they can then pay off their mortgage, pay off their forbearance if they have it, and move forward with whatever they're going to do after that, hopefully without going to short sale or foreclosure. Okay, again, I think we are going to see some. We're probably going to see a little bit more than normal, but they're going to trickle in the state of Florida. They're going to trickle in around 2022, which is a long time for those people who are in that situation to come up with a plan. and to get out from under that, to get ahead of this so that they can either sell or short sale or restructure their loan or something so that they can pay back this forbearance. And also don't forget, not as many people took a forbearance as you think. A lot of people actually didn't do that. And that's just what's going on. I'll post the article in the comment section here. But again, for those of you who are thinking that you're going to get your dream house in 2022 for half of what it's been going for, I wouldn't hold your breath. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there will be some unicorns out there. And I think there are going to be some people who sweep up these sweet deals. But I think the majority of people who are going to be house hunting in 2022 are going to be buying resales from other people, or maybe the foreclosure. And the foreclosure is going to be market value or very close to it. So far, things are looking good. That's pretty much it. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope that made sense to you. If it didn't, throw some comments or questions into the comment section or DM me. I will post all this stuff in the comment section so y'all can read what came through Florida Realtors Association this morning and take a look at it yourself. They have places where they cite stuff. And then I'll also post the site where I'm citing the information I just gave you about people's equity in their homes and inventory. That's a different site I went to. So I hope y'all are having a great day. From what I've read this morning, the feel like temperature today is going to be like 100. Hey, Kathy. So if you're outside, wear your sunscreen, drink a lot of water. I hope you get some vitamin D today. It is actually going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be beautiful. If you have questions on this or anything else in real estate, throw it in the comments or send me a DM. I'm happy to answer this. And I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.